Hello, viewers. Our topic of discussion today is on the relationship between post-divorce parental alienation and adolescents' well-being. And dear viewers, I want to define for you what parental alienation means. This simply means the manipulation of children by one parent with an intention or aim of turning them against the other parent. And this, dear viewers, why I call it post-divorce is because parental alienation can occur even in an intact marriage, but now mine is about post-divorce parental alienation, where people have already divorced and now the children are living with either parents because the law says that the children need to go and visit the other parent. That is what we call the visitation right. So this manipulation of children actually is aimed at turning them against the other parent, and there is a lot of indoctrination, and the children are told very negative things about the other parent. And we call the parent who is perpetrating this abuse, we call them the alienating parent, and the person, the other parent who's refused, the recipient, we call them the targeted parent. So this one really is very, very common when divorce occurs, and really it affects most of the children. And for me, I'm really interested in how post-divorce parental alienation affects the teenagers or the adolescents. So I'm going to give a very big, small background about post-divorce parental alienation as a way of even introducing this topic to us, dear viewers. So this one is about the environment in which the children grow up, being very, very important for their well-being. And that is what somebody by the name Beig 2021 said, that this environment is very, very important. And this writer says that the home atmosphere is beneficial to the flourishing of children. And it is very key because here the parents are mutually supportive, they are having nourishing relationship with their children, and they are really collaborating in parenting. So it means they are consulting one another. These parents are consulting one another as far as bringing up of these children is concerned. Then somebody by the name David found that there is current evidence specifying that a diversity of parental contribution, such as parental warmth, compassionate parenting, parental reassurance, and generally parental contribution are positively associated with improved well-being among the adolescents. So you can see now that you need to show your children warmth, and then you need also to be compassionate when bringing up the children. And that is the environment that allows children to thrive. And that is where we bring in the word well-being, meaning the children are flourishing, they are thriving, all their areas of life have been taken care of. And another person by the name Thomas said that the quantity and type of association a parent shares with their offspring can have either a positive or undesirable effect on the adolescent's bodily, mental, or as well as their social development. So the quality is also very important, not just the quantity. The quality is where you are with your children. You are really interested in what is going on in their lives. And even when they come home from school in the evening, you are asking them how they have been, whether there's something interesting that happened in school or even something that made them upset. So that is what we are calling quality time with your children. And somebody again by the name Thomas et al. Recommend that parents strive to have affirmative influence in the adolescents' lives while satisfying the adolescents' requirement for self-sufficiency. So we are saying, although adolescents really want their independence, we are also saying that really we need to help them so that they can navigate that adolescent's life, which is it is full of turbulence because remember, they really are forming their identity. There's the issue of forming a healthy self-concept and even a positive body image. That is all that is required for them. So it is indeed a very sensitive period for the adolescents, and the environment they are growing in really is very, very important. Sanders, in the year 2017, maintains that when conflicts occur in such an environment, the parents take it upon themselves to explain to the children the meaning of conflict, which in return elicits positive reaction from them. What are we saying? That the conflicts are there in homes, but we have two types of conflicts. the constructive conflicts, and the destructive conflicts. Where there are constructive conflicts, it means that even if the parents are disagreeing, then they are also able to reassure their children. They are able to tell them we are in control of things, we are capable, we have good coping skills, and we also have good resolution. We are able to make, we are going to work on the issue and come up with the solution. So this one really reassures the children and they feel more secure in such homes. However, when we talk about destructive parenting and destructive environment, we are really interested. We are looking at what is happening in those homes. Is it affecting the children? Are the children feeling stressed? Are they feeling anxious? Are they feeling very depressed because of what is going on? So the destructive environment is where there's psychological abuse, there is emotional abuse, there is physical abuse, and that is the environment that really cannot be relied on to ensure that children have good and healthy well-being. So these children are also likely to have feelings of accomplishment. Where the environment is conducive, the children will also thrive. They are going to have a feeling of accomplishment. And moreover, where the conducive environment exists, there is a high likelihood of parents interconnecting every day in matters in raising of their children. However, when a split up or divorce occurs, parenting of children can turn out to be challenging. So we are saying that all these good environments which was existing before the divorce struck, we are saying that this one can now become toxic and really can cause a lot of trouble for the children and especially the adolescents, and really it can affect their well-being. And this could be attributed to the findings of Mazuro 2021 that the two parents maintain a toxic environment which undermines peaceful co-parenting. Remember, when people divorce, somebody said that the conflicts continue, and these conflicts become even worse. And somebody even described them as running both a marathon and a sprint at the same time, because all the negativity, all the hostility now is now meted on the other spouse. And these people are full of bitterness and anger. In that situation, what are we saying, viewers? That indeed the children cannot be taken care of. In fact, they become the innocent victims. And these children, by the way, are very, very affected because the peaceful co-parenting cannot occur. Peaceful co-parenting just means that even if you have divorced, that the parenting still continues. It is the marriage that has ended. It is not parenting which has ended. So what is recommended is peaceful co-parenting, where the two spouses come together in order to deal with the issues related to the children, whether it is the visiting day they are attending, they need to go together, or they can even go separately, no problem. But at least they are there and they are involved in the rights of the children, and they can even consult each other, things to do with the welfare of the children. When that peaceful co-parenting is not there, dear viewers, it becomes a problem. It could be argued, therefore, that divorce disorganizes the stability that existed in the family and undermines the well-being of the children. During this post-divorce parental alienation, a hostile or toxic environment is created between the two ex-spouses, where the alienating parent would like to be seen as all blameless by the children, where the targeted parent is depicted as all wicked. So you can see now that this alienating parent is pretending or posing like to be a saint, very blameless, while the targeted parent is depicted as all wicked and all evil. So you can see now what is going to happen to the children is not something good. With this toxic environment, the parents cannot effectively meet the needs of their children. And these needs include emotional needs. Emotional needs, dear viewers, it means that you are involved in the lives of your children. You are noticing enough when they are sad and now doing what you need to do. The other needs include the physical needs. You know what the children require. Probably they also need their clothing. Now they are even outgrowing the clothes that they had, because during adolescence, there's rapid growth spurts. So you can imagine now when this hostility is there, Even these emotional and physical needs and psychological needs of the children may not be taken care of. With the children indoctrinated and being turned against the other parent, there is development of poor parent-child relationship, which is associated with a compromised well-being among the adolescents. So what are we saying? That indeed parental alienation is truly associated with a damaged or weakened parent-child relationship. And remember, if the parent-child relationship is now weakened or it's not even in existence, then the children's well-being has been compromised. So adolescents, then, it's important that we discuss or I try to define the term adolescence, which is the fifth stage of human psychosocial development, according to Erik Erikson in 1968. So according to another writer called Baek 2021, adolescence is a critical time in the life progression. Additionally, Baek 2021 says that the bodily, intellectual, and emotional changes prompted by the onset of puberty can make an adolescent even the period as a period which is of heightened sensitivity. Furthermore, this Baek 2021 posits that this critical phase leaves adolescents susceptible to trauma, social segregation, intimidation by peers, and lack of sympathetic adults, as well as gender-based sexual ferocity. So, dear viewers, you can hear how sensitive and how delicate this stage of adolescence is. These people are forming their identity. They are also trying now to understand who they are. And we are saying that they can be left now with a lot of woods in a woods when divorce occurs, and not just divorce, when post-divorce parental alienation occurs, when one parent is pretending or posing to be the all good one, where the other one is portrayed as the devil. So the developmental tasks that needs to be mastered in adolescents include learning major life competencies, for example, handling emotions, as well as the changes occurring in their bodies and developing a healthy lifestyle. So you hear adolescents, they need now to know how to do what we call emotion regulation, in handling the emotions, because at this time, the emotions are indeed a roller coaster. So they need to be taught emotion regulation, and they are also concerned about the bodily changes that is happening on them. So we are saying they also need to know how to deal with the peer groups and also the peer pressure, dealing with the family dynamics, and being self-aware, among others. Thus, the adolescents are already going through a major life transition with its own challenges, and both divorce and parental alienation may further complicate matters, leading to a compromised well-being. So it is very, very unfortunate when divorce occurs, when the children are in this stage, because already they have so much to handle. And now the divorce strikes, making them suffer even more. Now, dear viewers, we are talking about the word well-being. And the word well-being is a dynamic or a multifaceted concept which comprises of both subjective, social, and mental scopes, and also in health-related behaviors and financial facets. So you can see the term well-being is all-rounded, covering so many aspects: emotional, physical, financial facets, so many things. When you talk about well-being, really we are talking about a 360-degree experience. So this study is very, very important because it really concentrates on the parental alienation and its effect on the children, and especially the adolescents. So this study really used what we call the PAMA well-being theory by Seligman 2011. And the PAMA well-being theory, the P simply means positive emotions, and the E means engagement, R is the relationship, M is the meaning, and A is the accomplishment. So are these adolescents having positive or negative emotions? Are they engaged in whatever activity they are doing? Are they really giving it all? Are they so engaged and absorbed such that they lose track of time? What about their relationships? Are they having positive relationships with their peers, with their friends, and even with their teachers who are handling them at the moment? what meaning are they making out of their parental differences? What are they telling themselves about what is happening in their life? And then accomplishment is meaning that they have to do things and then they're excelling in whatever they are doing. And that is why when we say they have a sense of accomplishment. So individuals who have high well-being or healthy well-being have resilience, meaning they are able to withstand difficult life situations. And these people are also likely to have less mental illness. And they are also likely to cooperate better with other people. And they also can also flourish socially. So the meaning of well-being, well-being is very, very important, because if you have healthy well-being, you have resilience. And when we talk about resilience, is that you are going through a very tough situation, but then you are able to withstand everything, and you are able to tell other people about your experience and probably encouraging them along the way. So parental alienation denotes the manipulation or indoctrination of the children by one parent with an intention of turning them against the other. So this one becomes a real problem for the children, because they are left asking, who do we align with? Do we go to our dad's side? Do we go to our mother's side? If we go to our mother's side, are we going to be said we are very rude, or we are rude and we are not obeying our father's instructions? So it becomes a very, very difficult thing for a child, because essentially it is like telling the child to choose between one parent against the other. So these two writers, Washak and Vaha, posit that the conflict center around the welfare of the children and could last for a long period of time. So these conflicts, if they can last for long periods of time, then remember, the more they're affecting the well-being of the children. And Washak in the year 2020 and Vaha in the year 2022 seem to suggest that the children have to contend with the toxic environment for a long period of time, which further jeopardizes their well-being. And parental alienation behavior, on the other hand, refers to a multifaceted class of tactics employed by alienating mother or father to impair the association between the targeted child and his or her other parent. So essentially, we are saying when parental alienation occurs, the child is separated from either the father or the mother, physically or even psychologically. And according to an author, Herman 2019, it has been tricky to arrive at the exact data of children who have been affected by parental alienation, because many cases have gone unreported. So you can imagine how many cases have not been reported, because people are not quick to register these things. And sometimes parental alienation cannot be seen physically. So sometimes it may be there, it's a subtle thing, and therefore it remains largely underreported. Therefore, Herman elaborates that part of this uncertainty emanates from the findings that not all offspring subjected to parental alienating behaviors become alienated. The other reason why this has gone underreported is because although many children in post-divorce separation are subjected to parental alienation, some of them do not really become very, very affected. However, like 3/4 or even more are affected by post-divorce parental alienation. So some two writers, Burnett and Brodsky, mentioned that there are study findings which specify that parental alienation is present in approximately 15% of annulment cases. Around 15 cases of those people who have divorced, parental alienation is there. And these writers established that around 25% of parents employ alienating tactics for at least 6 years after split up. So you can imagine for 6 years, the children have to to live in such a hostile environment, and not knowing who to align themselves with, and even who now to make their enemy, and even actually become separated from them physically and emotionally. And Herman in the year 2016 found that between 5% and 42% of parents respondent on an online survey stated they had engaged in one alienating behavior or more. So in a research done by these two writers, we are seeing that the parents themselves were confessing that they actually engaged in parental alienating behavior. An example of parental alienation strategy that was established by Herman in the year 2016 was that ex-spouses would shriek at their spouses in the presence of their children. This means then you are shouting at your ex-spouse in the presence of your child, meaning you are demeaning that parent. Other respondents confessed having relocated their offspring to other states, which was aimed at cutting communication ties with the embattled parents. So you can see, dear viewers, that divorce, some of the alienating behaviors is that you decide to relocate with the children with the aim of cutting communication ties or any association with the other parent. And remember, this parent, we are calling her or him the targeted parent. Then Herman in the year 2016 used samples drawn from North Carolina, and the sample comprised of adults 18 years old and beyond, and who were a representative of parents who were the targets of parental alienating behavior. And this sample was arrived at through chance digit calling of home and wireless telephone. And the findings of the research specified that 13.4% of parents reported being the targets of parental alienating behaviors, which was founded on the U.S. populace at the time of the investigation. So you can see, dear viewers, that indeed the statistics are high that parental alienation occur during post-divorce. So we are saying that in sub-Saharan Africa, the statistics again on post-divorce parental alienation are scanty. However, it is quite evident that the phenomenon is present going by findings of research carried out on the same. So this research was carried in South Africa, and Brits et al. 2018 carried out the research on fathers who experienced and their views of parental alienation during acrimonious divorce. So they were trying to get the views and the experiences of fathers during that divorce. And among their findings were the following: that the targeted parent in this study, the fathers, experienced intense pain, experienced heartache, were emotionally wounded, which was comparable only to death, experienced intense anger, which could lead to serious consequences, and most had decreased self-worth, and social isolation was preferred. So you can see that even this one parent who has been targeted has been really affected by post-divorce parental alienation, and these were the fathers. And we are saying most of them were full of anger. We are saying most of them were emotionally wounded, and some of them were really experiencing a lot of pain. So few studies have been conducted in Kenya on the prevalence and effects of divorced parental alienation on adolescents' well-being. So it's only a hint that exists that post-divorce parental alienation occurs. And this was highlighted by Citizen Television Network in the year 2019, where the headlines read, "Tears at daughter admits mother made her lie about being raped by the father." And the media reported that the girl had been coerced by the mother to tell the court lies about being raped by the father in the year 1997. So what are we saying, dear viewers? That indeed parental alienation could be there, and really the studies are now showing that it really exists in post-divorce families. And this is a clear incident that post-divorce occurs, where this mother told the daughter to lie that she had been raped by the father, and this father languished in the prison cells for 10 years. So this is post-divorce parental alienation, setting the child against the other, telling them to tell lies about one particular parent. So post-divorce parental alienation is a study that really needs to be checked because it can really affect the well-being of the adolescents. So this is something that needs to be looked into, and hence the interest in this study by Dr. Jane Wanjao, so that we can see what can be done for the children. So actually in Africa itself, there is a proof that even post-divorce parental alienation is very common, and really the effects of that has been seen by most of the people who have done the studies on them. So divorce triggers parental alienation in that many ex-spouses who are still bitter with each other continue with the destructive conflict which led to the divorce in the first place. And additionally, somebody by the name Cebu 2020 reports that these conflicts take a different dimension in that the children are coerced or are unwillingly drawn into the arena, which adversely affect their well-being. And studies done on the impact of post-divorce parental alienation are really among the adolescents states that their well-being has been affected. And these studies have been largely been done in the Western countries, in countries like the United States of America, Australia, and even in Canada. So in the light of the escalating statistic of divorce in Kenya, coupled with the adverse effects of parental alienation reported on adolescents in the Western countries, the study explored the relationship between post-divorce parental alienation and adolescents' well-being in the Kenyan context. Thank you, viewers, for listening to me. This is just episode number 1, and I promise that I will be moving on to episode number 2 so that we can explore this post-divorce parental alienation further. When we go through such topics, it is enough and you are going to understand that what is happening to you and your children is post-divorce parental alienation, and you really need to understand that you are causing a lot of trauma to the children. We are told that divorce already is a very traumatic experience for the children. Now, when the parents continue to fight through the children, involving them in their conflicts, it becomes now a real tragedy for the adolescents. So we shall be moving on next time so that we can really explore more on post-divorce parental alienation and adolescents' well-being in the Kenyan context. Thank you.